Again in studio. This time also what is basic $1 million. Of course, that is a programmer. What else? But it can also have an inflation like 98%. But of course, the more you know, the less there is inflation and you can become more professional. Some programmers also are artists, but for sure not all. The science art it's a little bit more complex and it's not easy to understand. Of course, the science art design it's even more difficult and probably no scientist understand. The basic used in different programs, of course, is some type of engineers that do that program correctly, and you can use D or C++ or Java or JavaScript or BASIC for your program to build it. If you have problems, of course, you need to do extra search on it and you just build better C++. Of course, if you make too much mistake, that can be also problem in a lot of things. The psychology in science, of course, it's not easy and it's a little bit of health and a little bit of basic. But it's also different with electronics, and of course, all the ledgers function much better if you do the program right. What is on the left side, I do not know, but probably not 1 million like. I professionally dislike anything visual, but of course it's necessary to develop it in a program. Not easy to do anything in program, and of course it's not easy to apply basic. Most of lady even want to use simple programs to do 1 million like, but of course that is not the same like currency. The basic is really not simple and it's also not popular. What's the difference between programming and website? Well, actually programming it's a little bit more of a PC and not so much website work. And from some point everything on PC can also go on the website. But the things from website, if you download them on computer, that can cost you dollars. The web is full of different layers, and of course, you can build different layers with the code, especially in IT work or any type of media, which of course is some sort of a game. If you are a game app developer, of course, that's a little bit different than standard web apps, and you can do a lot of game, but I dislike any murder games or any high level science because it's a little bit too corrupted. The programs that brings health in world or your local area are of course worth $1 million, which will not be paid in money. Of course, that can be measured in health. But you will also get a percent in money if you understand crypto and banks together with program work. The advanced CSS I don't like too much because it looks very dangerous, but if you do it right, probably this CSS also function well with your app. The JavaScript is a lot of used, but it's more for simple apps. If you look for anything more advanced, you need to put a lot of code in Studio. For the ladies that like fashion, probably they should use more mobile applications. And of course, that's not anything related to currency, but more related with like and other designs related with like and scripts. Of course, some also use Photoshop to make some sort of education, but I dislike education because it makes a lot of minus for me. The different media applications are quite difficult, and of course me do not know all the applications, but there are some menus in science and also architecture in apps design. But of course, you can also build different software. The software is actually much harder, and you might use C Sharp or C++ or Basic C. And of course, that's also applied to all the banks or banking. The main bankers, of course, like developers a lot, but not all. Only the professional crypto cycle, which is of course not easy. The cosmetic science is also not easy, and it also beats with banking a bit and includes some science wallets. Those are not easy to build and are probably running on blockchains. The science service is full of problems, especially in medicine, and those professions should really put slightly a little bit more theory of Qigong and Tai Chi inside, and that could make much better world with no disease. And of course, people could breathe more fresh air and meditate outside. But of course, professionals do not think about that $1 million, and they just want more and more and more medicine. What I mean with $1 million, I really mean health and not anything related to currency. So the people that are dreaming about currency, probably they'll never find it. Unless you are an author of the book, of course, then you have always opened, because of course you are there to share some story the other could not. The book, of course, also changed all the electrical or communication ways in science or psychology, and it's far more advanced in administration. Not simple to perform any program or arts on high level, but also the distribution services are not simple. The transport of the book around the world is much, much harder than transport of the code, because the code is actually more simple. And when you build the tools, probably you should not use what other use. If other use any type of containers or any type of clinics or any type of success tools, you should avoid all of that. If anyone mention any currency or any high number, forget it forever. Probably it's a poison or dream about health. Most of health is actually made from money or the source of Tai Chi, or actually from the very, very specific doctors that are not in science. It's the most hard to work in any insurance industry, and there is zero potential in science, sometimes because the science have so much problems. There is millions of pills in science, and I do not distribute all the pills, but only some pills, because those pills are also good for others. Probably the vitamins are the best, but I am pretty critical about my team and what my team designed for me this month. So it's not easy to pay team, but also not easy to guide any story. It's actually about simple forums. The simple forums to make simple education in C++, but also this education is going to destroy your company completely, because everyone wants to win. And of course, the win is not what you should look for, because it's just about striving and working. The work motivation, it's not easy, and most people look for like or money, but me would not recommend any like or any money, even if they offer you $1 million. Probably you should more think about how to make distribution for 1 million vitamin pills. That would be much better vision if you think about the fortune. Of course, not all pills are good, and some pills in insurance are actually poison. Me do not recommend any psychophysics or any telemedicine, but much more recommending simple code. It is not easy for medicine to design simple levels without Win Design, but of course, you can design any type of profile you want. The construction in career profile is not simple because everyone's going to build some sort of vitamins. So on some port in code and also on some point, everything is going to fall down together with mechanics and profile and medicine. The profile can actually create better health position, but that's not simple in the health centers around the world. Different techniques also play part in different industry in medicine, especially if there is any disease, and any fast food can corrupt your industry very quick. You should really observe how quick can you be corrupted in any center if you every day just eat pizza or some sort of very fast food? Probably it's much better that you work on the code or clean code, which is of course some sort of IT. That IT also need security, and of course the security in cell with team, and of course there are duties for the team. The necessary skills for the girls in team are 100% not any app or coding, but it's more extravagance in technology, and of course they might be specialists in sell. They might also want bigger salary if they sell a lot, and of course that's the education part for women. If a woman say I want a $1 million, probably you should arrest it or lock in prison. It's not a joke. Also, any type of work, you must think like this. Do not think about this woman could not do it or this man could not do it, but how much they are prepared to work together as a team. And most ladies, they have special needs to work for their family or for their partners or for themselves, and not with team with more than 5 people. If they work with team with more than 5 people, like 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000 in extreme case, if they are more known, probably they deserve bigger salary and they can achieve anything also for a lady. But of course, it's not always easy. Any sound, after all, man or woman, can be paid also in every minute in life. But of course, healthcare sometimes it's more important. And also the advocating in health, it's not easy because there's not enough of simple forms and simple therapy for people, but just nonsense in operations and too much salary for wrong doctors. Probably doctors should be paid for their career, but that's more opinion of people in banks who think that education can do everything. Sometimes you just need to meditate for 40 days and everything is okay then. But of course, it's not simple. Bankers sometimes are more like priests or presidents, and they have a lot of certifications, but of course not always certifications in technology. The bankers are also some sort of engineers, but they will buy certifications if you will offer anything, of course. Me think that actually the best for lady, if someone want a lot of currency, is actually to selling vitamins, because the vitamins, they, B12 and ABC and B6 and B2 and or C, all type of vitamins and multivitamins, all type of vitamins, they make a lot of point in humanity or in local city. But if you have good vitamin business, or how to say that, you can also build some sort of extra service for old and also for young. Not easy to do any type of education, because education actually become some sort of problem. There is a lot of problem with doctors and a lot of problems with salary of doctors, of course. The final truth is that the doctors will not work if you do not give them enough of money. So you could really could not do anything about it. And also there is dysfunction, insecurity, how therapy should look like. And it's 100% not easy for any doctor to do the right things in every second in their life.